think we're here.
Yes, we are on the right video now.
See, this is exactly why I don't pre-plan things. Because then I just redo it without even remembering that I already did a plan for it. Damn it. Okay. Sorry.
We'll get it right eventually.
Yeah. So any thoughts, Mr. Sir, on how ready do you think Europe is for this bullshit?
I think that she's basically saying, well, looks like we're gonna have to do it ourselves. And you know, America can join us if they want, but we don't need them. We'll make friends with Central Asia.
Right. You know,
we'll make friends with
India.
we'll make friends with other countries. Yeah. Like we don't need the Americans to do stuff. We can make our own deals with Canada and Mexico, and the Americans can fuck off.
We'd rather deal with Modi. Like that's what we got told. Sheldon says European cars are going to skyrocket. They were already expensive. Yes, they were.
Yes, they were.
But they were better cars.
Good luck getting a fucking BMW or a Mercedes.
No, I think the biggest problem is a lot of people drive Volkswagens. There's a lot of like Tiguans and Jettas and Rabbits. Like people like their reliably German engineered a lot of times I've seen people like they'll get like a Passat that's diesel or something like that, and it's like, oh, you're just living in 2040.
I want that electric bus that BMW or that VW came out with.
The new bus, the new mini bus. But is that what anyone wants to be forced to shit? Yeah. This is gonna suck. Like
this is gonna suck hard.
And to this day, Dum Dum is still up there running around, jumping up in front of camera saying, "Look, we gotta make this money, dude. We're the ones paying it. What are you talking about? You're just gonna forcibly extract your goal of $1 trillion out of the populace? We ain't got it." He's like, "Well, I bet if you can't buy nothing, like what?"
Well, I was listening in and out on like Cory Booker's stuff in the morning, and one of the things he was talking about was, you know, Canadian manufacturers are saying that, you know, since we get a lot of our lumber from Canada, home prices are going to go up.
Yeah.
By like 10% because a lot of our building materials come from Canada, and we already have like a housing shortage.
Right.
And it's just going to create a bigger problem for people who want to buy houses, like me.
And a worker shortage as well.
Right. There's a lot of people in the border states who, like, you know, work across the border, either Canada or Mexico.
Or, I mean, like, we don't have to pretend like there isn't this, like, huge workforce of undocumented people that are constantly taken advantage of. I say if someone's willing to fucking put them on a job site, then they should be able to sponsor them, and they should be able to get a work visa, and they should be good.
Well,
you know,
didn't we talk about it last week about Florida saying, "Oh yeah, the kids, they can replace the undocumented workforce, right? We'll just have the kids do it."
Yeah, that's who we're gonna want building our cars.
That'll be good.
And who else could you trust to lay down your foundation? Not a guy who's been doing construction in another country for 20 years. 14-year-old. 14-year-old. Person
14-year-old. He just wants to drive his dad's tractor.
Yeah, he wants to play tractor all day. So, our main man Tim Walz was down in Texas.
In Texas,
and he was showing out.
There we go. First, we need the mic on.
Turn the mic on.
Mic check.
Or come up here. You can use this one if you want to. Keep talking to test it.
God, kids don't know how to use microphones.
He said, "Here, take my mic." What a guy.
So, my name is Sammy. I'm a student at Rice, and I just wanted to thank you both so much for taking the time to speak with us. It means so much to have both of you stand so firmly in support of democratic values when it seems like kind of the world is crumbling around us. You both are figures of support, and it means more than you'll ever know.
Yeah, that must suck living in Texas and then all this shit starts happening. It's like, oh God.
Yeah, yeah.
So this topic is personal to me. My dad was a federal worker. He worked for the Small Business Administration, and he was one of the many who was laid off by Elon Musk.
Boo. Ooh, we need some
And
boo birds
before
on
he
here.
was laid off, he received federally sent threatening messages denouncing the use of DEI language and compelling workers to report each other if they found anyone trying to encourage DEI practices. And it hurts my heart, and it hurts everyone around us.
Please
because
put your
we
glasses
all
up, young
know
lady.
that diversity is what makes America great.
Looking like Chuck Schumer over here.
So, I know you told me not to ramble, but my question is, how do we speak about and plan for the inclusivity and diversity of opinion that we need to rebuild this country when those terms are being so demonized by the people holding power right now?
Good question.
Well, Sammy, thank you. And to all the young people who are here, I just pause for a moment and look around and look at, I'm especially talking about these old white guys who seem to disappoint us on a regular basis in this country, but not this group that's here standing with you. Folks that know, as Beto said, those Vietnam veterans, the motto of the damn Vietnam Veterans of America is never again will one generation forget another. And so for all of us to stand up and talk about these issues and to talk to the American public in a way where we let them define the issues. And I watched this happen on the campaign. I thought for sure when Donald Trump was bragging about folks in Springfield eating cats and dogs, that would be the end. It was not. It was not, because we let them define the message. So let's be very clear, segueing from that last question. One of the groups that has benefited greatly by us understanding that diversity, equity, and inclusion and having
Just
policies
keep the camera
around that
still.
were veterans
Christ.
themselves for hiring. Veterans are a part of
It's like they got sweep kicked by Liu Kang, and now they're like, now they got to shoot the rest of the thing down there. God damn.
Just get a steady cam, Christ.
the group when the federal government hires
couldn't
people
get that man a
based
gimbal?
on that. The rest of it is we all know, in Minnesota, pretty white, pretty cold, much like you see in the northern hemisphere, northern states,
We do have Mark on Unboxed Politics. We can confirm.
He is pretty white.
population going down. 70% of our workforce over the next 20 years is going to come from communities of color. Our very existence depends on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I'm just going to note this shit show of a text chain that was going on could have used a little diversity, equity, and inclusion in the people who were there.
Yo, he not lying, because a black person went, yo, we can't do this. I'm gonna get fired. Nah, dog, stop. Nah, dog, we can't do that. Stop. Don't.
Yo, did anyone check who's in the chat?
Yo, who is this? Who the fuck? Yeah, yo, JG. Who the fuck is JG? JG. Who is you? Who is you? Who you coming in here with? Who is you? Daily Blase. The Mensch. K in the chat says the anti-DEIA stuff is so goddamn dumb. As policy, it doesn't even do a fraction of what they think it does or what affirmative action did. But to them, it's all just vibes. It's owning the libs. Gotta pwn the noobs. Yeah, we're showing them.
They're so showing them.
I'm shown.
I've been shown.
So I think, and I'm going to own this, when we see people back off and we see corporations back off to the threats, instead of leaning into and knowing.
I feel like Tim Walz could have been a coach on Boy Meets World. I feel like he could have, like Mr. Feeney was the principal, then there was Coach Walz down in the gym.
Yeah.
I feel like he had some life lessons, you know.
We're doing this because it's not only morally the right thing to do, it's economically the right thing to do, and our culture proves that our strength is our diversity. We've been talking about this for years as a country of immigrants, and we let them define the issue on immigration. We let them define the issue on DEI,
right.
and we let them define what woke is. We got ourselves in this mess because we weren't bold enough to stand up and say, you damn right we're proud of these policies. We're going to put them in, and we're going to execute them. And so they're going to use fear. They're going to do whatever they can. What I would say is, we need to make sure we're highly organized. Let's provide the data. Let's show them where things are at. They're finding out now. Florida kicked everybody out, and now what do they have to do? Weaken their child labor laws so we can put kids to work? That's not who we are. So what I would say to you is, this is about demonizing, and in this moment, and we may pivot to it, I know Texas, it's a hot issue. Immigration's a hot issue on our border too. Canada, we like them. We like them. But
Yay, Canada.
if we're afraid to talk about these harder issues,
We're keeping our elbows up, bud.
If anyone's finding it hard to find their voice and say what happened to this young woman at Tufts University is absolutely horrific, then we deserve to lose elections. Because if we're not willing to stand up and say, of course we need reforms, of course we need to put things in there, but you can do these things without sacrificing our humanity, without sacrificing understanding where we come from. DEI is the same way.
Yeah, Tim Waltz, fighting the good fight.
No, man, I need my cheaper eggs.
Eggs aren't even cheaper. It's been months.
We did spend $7 for eggs.
Right. Last time I went to the store, it was still $8, and there were barely any eggs there.
It's
So
like
I don't know.
it's like we
I
had
don't know.
it's like we had a group project, right? And then everybody did like their individual parts, and then one person was supposed to present it, and they were just eating our diorama up there in front of the class. Like they're just taking pieces of it and putting it in their mouth. And that's
Eggs
some of
ain't
the
cheaper. Eggs ain't cheaper. Gas ain't cheaper. Groceries aren't. Inflation went up in February.
No, it didn't. You're lying.
No, it went up.
No, you're lying to me.
Cornflation went up. So I don't
never
know
happened.
what they're talking about. They're like, oh, there's going to be a little bit of pain and transition period. Yeah, it's called a recession.
Yes.
That's going to be your transition period, a recession.
So what do you make of Walls's like kind of clear-eyed honesty about like how the campaign went and like letting the Republicans frame things? Do you feel like that's kind of the message that all Democrats, if they want to have a chance of getting any voters going forward, do you think that that's kind of the attitude that they need to have moving forward?
I think at this point, there's two kinds of Democrats. One is the Tim Waltz, Bernie
Only
Sanders.
good Democrat is a dead. Sorry.
At this point, I probably would include Cory Booker in this. The Democrats who are willing to say, hey, last election didn't go well. We know why, and we're going to fix it. And then there's the Democrats who are just sticking their head in the sand and saying, no, it's not our fault. It's everyone else. Everyone else is the problem.
We will win. We will.
Yeah. It's the Chuck Schumers and the centrist Democrats who are like, nah, we can work with Trump. He's completely reasonable, and he'll do this. But Tim Waltz is saying what Democrats should have said the day after the election is we fucked up. And we let them have control of the issues because that's always what Democrats do. They give Republicans leverage on issues like that because they don't have a lot of Democrats don't have the stomach for it. They don't and if you remember the days after the election, Democrats lost their goddamn minds about they defended trans people too much or they defended DEI too much. And they're like, these are the reasons we lost. We didn't go to the right enough.
We were too woke. I knew we should have said all lives matter.
I remember the day after the election, Joe fucking Scarborough, who's not a Democrat anyway, but he was like, the time for liberals is over. Like the progressive era is over. I was like, that's not the message that the Democrats need.
Yeah.
It's the message they should need is that we should strengthen progressive ideals, and that is the way to fight all the Trump stuff.
And them mothballing him and then bringing out Dick Cheney's wife instead is crazy.
Yeah.
Is crazy. Or daughter, sorry.
SG in the chat says, please could someone explain to me what the thing with Cory Booker is? I don't quite understand what it all means.
Yes, Tim, give us an explainer on the filibuster.
So
I'm gonna make some tea. Be right back.
Cory Booker is doing what's now known as a standing filibuster, where he's taking control of the Senate floor until he decides not to anymore. He's basically holding up Senate business for, I don't know, at this point, 17, 18 hours. It's something that only the Senate can do. It doesn't happen in the House of Representatives. There's too many of them. But usually this is used to stop what's known as a motion to cloture, which is to end debate on a topic. But it can also be used when senators are just giving floor speeches or stuff like that, and he's said that he's not going to yield the floor until he can no longer stand. So that's what's going on. It's a filibuster, but he's not filibustering anything in particular. That's why they're not calling it a filibuster, but he's just protesting the Trump agenda. So he's not going to stop speaking until he can't speak anymore. And also other senators are coming in periodically to ask him questions, to give him like a few minutes break. But so far he's done like a different topic every hour or a couple hours or something like that. And I know that Senator Murphy has been there with him the whole time. He started about, 8 or 9 p.m. last night, and he's 8 p.m. Eastern time, and he's still going 18 hours later. Is he allowed any breaks? Only when he's asked questions. Those are the only times he's allowed to take breaks. And I think he was allowed to take a break while they were like doing the prayer for the new Senate day. But that's why if you watch the feed, every so often a senator comes in and asks him a question. He says he yields for a question, but he doesn't yield the floor or whatever. So that's what's going on there. It's still going on. I got it on my TV. And I think Senator Whitehouse is currently answering him questions. So he gets a break from speaking. He can drink some water. I don't know what the bathroom break situation is. But that is what's going on right now with Senator Booker. And this, like I said, this is a tactic that is used more and more frequently. Not like this. Like I said, it's usually stalling a bill. Senator Booker is stalling the Senate agenda for the budget resolution that they wanted to pass this week. So he's slowing that all down by like a day because he's been doing all this. Kay says, I heard sometimes they'll golf in a corner behind a curtain and pee in a bucket. Maybe, who knows? I've heard that they've also had like those catheter things strapped to their legs and whatever. I don't know if that's a real story or just something I heard, but yeah, so when you don't see him on screen, when someone else is asking a question, that's when he's taking a break. He could be taking a bathroom break. I often wonder how they do that too. Like, what if he doesn't have to pee? What if he has to go like number 2? How long does he get to do that? Does he get to do that?
Got to clinch, baby.
It's been like a whole day.
Got to clinch. Got to work on your Kegels. Keep all your fluids inside during your filibuster.
But like I said, you'll see every so often another senator will come in and ask him a question and take like 10 minutes to ask one question. And that's his break from speaking and also possibly a pee break.
Sprint.
Yeah.
But I feel bad for anybody standing in front of that bathroom door because he's a big dude. He's coming in there like Matt Forte, just knocking out. He's the Marshawn Lynch beast mode. He's getting in that stall.
And I also wonder, like, he's probably not eating any like solid foods. He's probably drinking like protein shakes or whatever. That's what I'd be doing. But he has to have like eaten at some point in the last 18 hours.
Nah, dog. Don't eat that shit. All right, you ready to get pissed off?
Sure. Is it Elon?
Worse.
Oh God. Oh, it's Joe Rogan.
Joseph Rogan. So, he's got the trigonometry people on his show
Okay.
who are problematic. Obvious plants from some right-wing think tank. But I think Joe Rogan's kind of going to turn on Trump soon.
She thinks
Really?
these people from a third world country deserve the American dream. That's great. But let's find out if they're murderers. Let's find out if they're gang members. Let's find out if they're hitmen for the cartel. Like, we just letting everything open. Why would you do that? There's no rational explanation for that other than you've got some sort of nefarious plan.
God,
If you're
Joe Rogan is so dumb. I heard him say like 2 sentences, and he's already so dumb.
He just makes shit up. Like, if he just doesn't know something, he just kind of like, rounds the edges and says, this is a true thing now. It's like,
So-
did you look any of this fucking shit up? Did you have Jamie look it up for you, dude? Just look it up.
So, very slight tangent, but I saw that the new Some More News episode out coming tomorrow is what happened to Joe Rogan.
He's a mess. Too many toad licking? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe too many toad lickings.
Forcing that, trying to stop the enforcement of that, you must have some sort of nefarious plan because it can't be good to let more criminals into the country. It can't be good. And inevitably,
How would you know they're criminals?
Yeah, how would you know?
Did you do an asylum hearing?
I gotta say that like all the immigrants coming over are criminals or gang members is a mindset.
Yeah.
It's a dehumanizing of people, and it's seeing others as criminals is just the wrong mindset to have, regardless of like what your political beliefs are. If you believe that everyone coming from Mexico or El Salvador or Venezuela is a fucking criminal, I think that's your problem.
No, Tim, it's not that, like, I always cross the street when I see black people. It's just that they might be like a criminal,
Right. I mean,
That's
are
why
black people.
That's why I prejudge them beforehand. Like before I get to know them, I prejudge them. It's not prejudice.
It's just a mindset that I never understood.
Yeah. MS-13, thanks, Kate. MS-13 started in LA.
Yeah.
In jails. God. Don't forget Operation Fast and Furious, where they fucking decided to arm the cartel for no reason.
Hey, guys, did you put trackers on those guns?
Trackers.
No? What?
The trackers
what's that
coming.
for?
The trackers coming next week.
Oh! But you already gave them all the guns. Yeah, so we can track the guns.
Correct.
Right, but you didn't. How are you tracking them?
With the trackers
With the trackers.
in my hand currently. I'm holding them.
So you just gave them all those guns and decided whatever.
Well, then I figured we would give them the trackers next,
I have an idea. How about we give them more guns?
and then we'll put trackers in this one.
inevitably, if you have an open border, a percentage of them are going to be
And he's a conspiracy theory guy. Like, how does he not know that we did that? Like, how does he not know how the? You know what I mean? Like, dude, how are you so uncurious about this thing that you're so upset about? It's weird.
criminals, especially if they're coming from crime-infested parts of the world. It's a high likelihood.
Well, we actually just had a report in the UK which shows that for a long time people were saying actually these people commit crime at a
All right, you UK people, this is your people on our soil. You are responsible for them and the words that they say.
low level.
You're responsible for this.
Who said that?
Wait a minute.
Well, we actually just had a report in the UK which shows that for a long time people were saying actually these people commit crime at a lower level.
Who said that? Why would they say that?
Oh, people say that all the time.
Because
when
they did
defend
research,
illegal
you fucking
immigrants.
idiot.
Such a fucking bullshit
Who
argument.
said that? Why
Yeah,
would
such
they
a
say
bullshit-
that?
Because they looked and counted.
argument. Because, yeah, a lot of them, I bet, don't.
Christy says, hang on, we don't take any responsibility for this twat. What the fuck? Jan Wallace says he's Russian. I claim irresponsibility.
94% fewer illegal border crossings detected from February 25th versus
Year on year.
February 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can only count them, I guess, by when they actually
Bust
stop
them.
them. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a big number. 94% is good. So there's still people coming through.
Yeah.
And there's probably still people coming through that are criminals.
Why don't you ever need evidence for anything?
Right. Why don't when you ask that guy that question and he said what the research said isn't true, didn't you ask him why? Why does he believe that? Why do you believe that? Where is the data proving what you believe? And I know you can probably find something out there. It's the internet. You can find anything. But you're not even presenting anything.
It's vibes,
you just
dude.
be like, this is what I believe.
See, they're still letting 6% criminals in. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
As a political scientist, all this enrages me.
Criminals.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, you got to get scared that people who are not criminals
Oh, Jan.
are getting, like,
NSG.
lassoed up and deported and sent to, like, El Salvador prisons, like that kind of shit. Because I read some story. Was it Glenn Greenwald?
It was.
Yeah. The gay barber guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's scary, man.
Is that true? Is that story accurate?
Is that true? Joseph, how are you this dumb?
I don't get it. I don't get Joe Rogan is he's a bad comedian
Yeah.
and he's a bad interviewer
Yes.
and he platforms Nazis.
Yes. You know who doesn't do that? Us. And
Yeah,
we're hilarious.
we're better. I'm a better comedian than Joe Rogan, and I've only been doing it for like 2 years.
Talk your shit.
Accurate?
I don't think we
Can
know.
you explain the story for people that don't know?
Well, from what I read, I
Can you explain the story for him because he didn't read the whole article?
think it was in Time Magazine, Jamie, if you can pull it up, and maybe we can get it accurate. But basically, with a bunch of these
Hey, he don't sound Russian. Y'all tried to throw me off. Y'all tried to throw me off the scent. You don't sound Russian.
Agua guys, allegedly they got at least one guy who wasn't a criminal, who was just a gay barber who
But no, that would have never happened because all of those guys had due process. So before the immigration judge sent them over, the immigration judge would have talked to them about like their past and then if they had anything to verify or falsify the claims against them. Right?
Yeah. They literally had a dude. They literally picked up a dude who was like, they said they were looking for gang-related tattoos, and they picked him up, and they said he was a suspect. They saw his tattoo. It was for autism awareness.
No,
It was a ribbon for autism awareness, and they're like, hey, you're good. And then they still took him anyway.
So what you're saying is that gang members can't disguise themselves as non-gang members by supporting some sort of, cause? Gangs have causes. That MS-13 just supports autism research. That's all. They're gang members and autism advocates.
It's just, they just picked up people at random who
Brown
were
people.
Venezuelan. Right, brown people. And then they deported them without any processing at all. They just were like, put them on a plane. Even when the judge was like, hey, the people on the planes, they gotta come back. The administration was like, no, it's too late.
No, they
They're
said,
already in the
"Whoopsie."
El Salvador prison. Yeah. Oops. You didn't give us a written order. You only said it verbally in court, where the court reporter typed it all out. Like the judge said, Nazis got better treatment under
think
the Alien
according
Enemies Act.
the story came here legally. He was here legally. That's what they said. Don't know if it's
did
true.
he have a green card? or
I don't
was
know
he-
what the details are. Maybe Jamie can find it.
No criminal record.
From what it said in that story. Now, this is the problem, right? Because the mainstream media has been putting out so much shit that I don't
Yes, it's the mainstream media's fault.
He does. So he's like, yeah, we don't know, so we're just going to deport them anyway. Like, that's the argument, is that allegedly he's not a criminal, so we're just going to deport him anyway.
I mean, we didn't give him his day in court to prove it, but he probably would have been guilty anyway, you know.
And these reporters, you know, who knows what their sources are. I'm sure their information is completely inaccurate and they don't know anything.
Don't know what to believe anymore, right?
I feel the same way.
It's and,
You don't
and
know
so
what
it's
to believe anymore. So let's not believe the people that we don't want to believe.
Yeah, we shouldn't believe them. They're criminals. He's already established that they're criminals, and they're from a gang.
Right. And here's the thing. We all have our biases. We all have our blind spots.
Not me. I'm perfect every way.
Except for Mikey, he's perfect.
Thank you.
And we all have our beliefs. However, critical thinking and challenging your beliefs from time to time is a good thing. When you read a Times article about a dude who got deported because nobody cared that he wasn't a gang member, and he said, hey guys, I'm not a gang member and I have no criminal history. I'm here legally. And they deport him anyway. Maybe we should fucking look into that.
Maybe shut the whole thing down.
Just be intellectually curious.
Right.
Just think about it for 5 minutes and your brain will come to a conclusion other than, I don't know what to believe.
Difficult, but it's something that we actually brought up in one of our conversations. We interviewed the guy from the Heritage Foundation. We brought this up because I think we talked about this with Doge as well. When you do things quickly and you do things aggressively, that's how you get shit done. But that's also when mistakes get made. Right. And I think
it's just hey, you want to make an omelet?
Then maybe you shouldn't fucking do that. Then maybe you shouldn't fucking do that. Maybe you should do things correctly. Maybe there should be a process in place for if, let's say, you wanna deport criminals who are illegal immigrants. Okay, put a process together for that instead of just rounding random people up.
We already had a process for that, and Biden already deported more people than he did.
Yeah.
So this is just punitive people rounding up. That's all this is.
It's just people that they suspect are criminals or gang members because of their tattoos.
So he sent all the gang members down to El Salvador, so the tariffs are unnecessary, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Kid.
Well, and then did you see the Kristi Noem video of her fucking going to the prison and being like, hey guys, if you violate our laws in America, this is where you're going to end up. Standing in front of a bunch of prisoners. Some real Nazi shit. Some real Nazi shit.
I think a human being plucked out of nowhere and ending up in a country he's never been in a maximum security prison with gang members, seems like a bad thing to happen to me.
It's horrific. It's horrific.
I don't think that should be controversial.
No, that's not controversial at all. And this is the thing, measured twice.
But you advocate for it. In the very
that's
next,
what you want.
That's what you just said you wanted. Like, how are you the only one confused about your confusion? You want to just grab anybody and everybody. 96%. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. Could it be that in that 96%, perhaps some of those people didn't need to be deported?
Exactly.
Oh.
That's Joe Rogan.
Yeah. This is kind of crazy that could be possible. That's horrific, and that's bad.
Joe, you got a lot of tattoos. Can you turn your arm all the way around, please?
Hey, he's got like a samurai tattoo over there. He might be Yakuza.
Hey, yeah. No, Yakuza is definitely a gang organization. You need to get up out of here, dog. You already shaved your head. Good. You ready? Come on, get him on the plane.
For the cause. Like, the cause is, let's get the gang members out. Everybody agrees. But let's not innocent gay hairdressers get lumped up with the gangs, and then, like, how long before that guy can get out? Like,
Never.
According
Joe,
to the prison, never.
Joe, that's what we tried to tell you, Joe. They never get out. Ever. That's what we tried to fucking tell you. That's why this is wrong. Now he's got the concerned face like, well, well, we can get him out, right? We can undo this, right? No, dummy.
That's his brain trying to put like 2 and 2 together over there.
4, dumb bitch.
Can we figure out how to get him out? Is there any plan in place to alert the authorities that
No.
they've made a horrible mistake and correct it?
Well, if you think about it from a government perspective, and this is where I think it gets quite sinister, is once you've done that, the incentive structure is never going to be to admit that and deal with it.
Oh yeah, you could never let him out because then people would just be like, "Oh, then I'll just claim my case when I get." Are you insane? Yo, these melanated crazy people be driving me. I do not understand it. I do not understand it.
I honestly, this
can't.
whole conversation is insane.
Once you've done that, the incentive structure is never going to be to admit that and deal with it. The incentive structure is to say nothing, to cover it up, to pretend it didn't happen,
But
right?
That is horrible.
So someone ends up in a black hole. But we've seen it. Like,
We're keeping our elbows up, bud.
Hey, Ollie.
we've seen it in every country, including in America.
But that's the thing about politics, right? Never admit your fault. Never admit you're wrong.
It's so dumb.
Fuck politics. This is law.
Yeah, this is not politics. Disappearing people is not politics. It's fascism.
Yeah. That's illegal. For a reason. There's a reason. There's a law against it. There's a procedure to do all of these things. You're just like, well, it's my guy, so I trust him to just, do whatever the fuck he wants to. There is a reason why we don't do that.
There's a whole constitution against it.
And this
There's
is the thing we're
amendments.
He's
The
never read
Fifth
that.
Amendment.
He's never
The
read that.
Fifth Amendment.
seeing with the signal thing, and this is the thing we're seeing with this. It's like, I don't know if it's been brought to their attention. I mean, I would assume
Oh, it's been
someone's
brought to their
alerted them to.
attention.
Yeah, Trump just doesn't know about it. So that shows you how competent this government is that, first of all, they grab the wrong person. Then they send several wrong people. They send them down there. And then now Joe Rogan's over here like, well, maybe they just haven't heard about this case yet. There shouldn't be a fucking case, dumbass. Where's my fucking thing at?
Got your data, dumbass.
Like you're already supposed to know what you're doing before you do it. So they should have never been sent down there. It's not a question of, well, did we let them know that they made a mistake? Has anybody informed them of their mistake? You're not supposed to fucking make mistakes. That's why we have fucking due process, to limit mistakes.
Right. And that's what the judge was talking about in the appeal case when she said that, these people needed to know what their rights were before you put them on the plane.
Right.
They needed to know that they had the right to habeas before you put them on the plane so that they could make the claim that they aren't criminals. Because all you're doing is accusing someone of a crime or being criminals and then deporting them without proving that they're criminals.
Right.
And that's how a dude ends up in a El Salvador prison who's not a criminal. And you're like, oh man, that's too bad. It's the government's fault.
You did that.
The fact that they might have.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say it's the fault of government because they did not follow procedures that have been in government for so long. When you get rid of the bureaucracy, that's what happens. The shit goes wrong all the time.
If only there was like a reason why it was put in place in the first place.
So this wouldn't happen.
God.
Rounded up this.
That's like when he fucking got rid of all of like the backup like PPE for like medical professionals and stuff like that right before
Yeah.
COVID. It's like, you're so dumb. You're just so dumb. Yeah, we don't need that. What the fuck? Let's get rid of these seatbelts. They're making the car heavy. Like, what are you, stupid?
Or when they got rid of the pandemic response task force in the White House before the pandemic, who would have known that a pandemic was going to happen at some point?
Just
Maybe him.
random hairdresser and accused him of being a gang member.
Did you find a
But-
story, Jamie?
But
Time magazine.
The thing is, it's like,
You can't find Time magazine, Jamie. Jamie.
Come on.
Come on, Jamie.
what steps can be taken? Does the prison know now? Does everybody know? Can they talk to that guy? Can they pull him out of there?
Well, this is it. It's a maximum security. It's a maximum security prison. So the answer, I think, is we don't know at this moment. But
But
look,
No, the answer is no.
his life like in there, man? I mean,
Yeah, it's horrific.
fuck.
But
Horrific.
this is also a large part of why this happened is because of illegal
Come on, twat Jamie Oliver.
immigration. So you had this, and look, I'm half Venezuelan. You had Tren de Aragua, which causes chaos in Venezuela. It comes to the U.S. It causes horrendous amounts of chaos in the U.S.
Where? Where?
And that's awful. But also as well is then ordinary, decent, hard-working Venezuelans who all they want to do, their entire country has gone to shit, who have come here legally. They just want to work. They want to get ahead. They have jobs. They just have got families. They're trying to make ends meet. And all of a sudden, all you hear is Venezuelan does this, Venezuelan does that. And you're like, oh my God, man. You know, it tars all of us with that brush.
Right.
You know, I was walking in New York and
You know what? It's funny you say that. Roll them sleeves up right now. Roll your sleeves up right now. You going too, bucko. And Joe, your tattoos, you're going too.
Here's what the Fifth Amendment says, is no person shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Due process, not no citizen, by the way, no person. Meaning anyone in the United States. It doesn't matter their immigration status. No person. We're a country of laws.
We were.
and I saw this group of this Venezuelan family, and they were there begging for money and for whatever else. And maybe it just hits harder because you know they're from where I'm from or where my mum's from. And you just go, it just tarnishes all of us with the same brush.
Right.
When the reality is, like we were saying,
Oh, so you want the people to like have like, I don't know, a judge and then like maybe like a defender and then like maybe like a prosecution. So you want that's the step. But you were clapping a second ago because like, yeah, get them out of here. Then like, yeah, it's just so bad that they're out of here. What is wrong? Like, is this the schizophrenic like partial logic that these people like navigate day-to-day life with? Is this why motherfuckers are consistently driving with their brights on because they're like, I have to see better even though the fucking street's already lit and they're in a lifted fucking pickup truck, so your high beams are just going directly into the rearview mirror of the person in front of you?
And they have that fucking light bar above their
God, the
fucking
light
headlights.
bar. A fucking light bar, dude. It's like, dude, there are street lights every block.
You're in the city.
Like, we're in the suburbs. Like, you can see our road is like 60 feet across and well lit and all air. Like, what are you doing?
before, most of them are just good, decent, hard-working people. But because you don't have checks and balances in place, because you're not
Who got rid of them?
Yeah,
Bowman.
who got rid of the checks and balances?
They said just round them up.
letting people, you're not vetting people, you're getting the worst of society. And the worst of society
So they're all bad that's coming in, is his argument.
Yeah.
Well,
gives
if only,
everybody else a bad name.
if only, well, I went here to do some research for the show. Let's go full screen. So this is the National Institute of Justice. If you look, there's a notice here. And it says the Department of Justice's Office of Justice Programs is currently reviewing its website and materials in accordance with recent executive orders and related guidance. During this review, some pages and publications will be unavailable. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. So what I wanted to search is gone.
All right.
It just takes you here. But don't worry. Other people have done the work for them. This is a bit wordy, but I need you guys to rock with me here. I'll switch the camera.
BRB, Mikey.
Okay. We'll do it this way. Okay. So this, let me go up to the top here. And actually I can drop this in the chat if you guys like. Do immigrants threaten U.S. public safety? All right, where was I at? Okay. Here we go. Dude, if you get halfway down, The empirical evidence comes down decidedly on the side of immigrants being less likely to commit crimes. A large body of empirical research concludes that immigrants are less likely than similar U.S. natives to commit crimes, and the incarceration rate is lower among foreign-born than among native-born. Among men ages 18 to 39, prime ages for engaging in criminal behavior, the incarceration rate among immigrants is 1/4 the rate of U.S. natives. Now that is the rate, not the number of people, the rate. 1/4 the rate among U.S. natives. There are several potential reasons why immigrants are less likely than similar U.S. natives to commit crimes despite their worse labor market prospects. So typically when people commit crime, it's because they're poor, right? Usually these are crimes out of desperation. And even if they're drug related or chemically addicted people, like these people are chemically addicted because they are dealing with the stress of their life and they're dealing with shortcomings of society that have left them into this very vulnerable position. And instead of doing things that are more beneficial for their life and for the life of their society, they've turned inwards and they've given up. And I think we should help them as opposed to victimize them. First, the difference in deterrence effect outlined above may dominate the difference in economic opportunities. Since non-citizens potentially face deportation, they should be more responsive than U.S. citizens to crime deterrence policies, such as increased police presence. Immigrants also may be subject to more scrutiny by law enforcement officers, but other channels besides deterrence may contribute to immigrants' relatively low propensity to commit crimes. Immigrants may be positively selected from the population in their origin countries. People who are more likely to commit crimes may be less likely to become international migrants. I mean, let's see, what else we got here? Gotta move my little doohickey. Here's the facts. Here's the crime wave they're talking about. This is the crime wave. The biggest category, illegal entry / re-entry. Oh boy. I wonder what happened in Nicaragua, in Venezuela, in Costa Rica that would have all these people fleeing here. Has nothing to do with American foreign policy at all, I bet. So all of this hullabaloo over, we're talking, and by the way, I want you guys to keep in mind, this is all in the talk of grander numbers. This is not to diminish any of the crimes that have happened. I'm not for crime, and I think that's fairly obvious. But when they talk about like all the people being murdered, so bro, if you're talking about 200 murders-ish, 180 murders, have you seen what our crime numbers are, what our gun violence numbers are? Do you know how bad the gun violence is? And how most modern countries don't have this problem? So if you're actually out there to save American lives, then why don't you put some red flag laws on gun ownership? Why don't you start getting the guns out of the hands of the people that are actually, you know, offing their wife because the wife is cheating on them? How about the guy who's on his 16th DUI? How about Mel Gibson?
Oh yeah, take away that guy's guns.
You know, like why don't you actually go for all of the white dudes who are consistently filling the jails, even though everything in the criminal justice system is meant to spit them out without much but a slap on the wrist. And again, these numbers, you have to remember, we have 340 million people in this country. I don't even want to get out the calculator to see how small of a percentage of the crime that we have that is done by undocumented people. So it's not an issue, dude. We have a much bigger issue with, especially in Chicagoland, with ghost guns coming from Indiana. That outdwarfs all of this by itself. So miss me.
Oh yeah, yeah, and in Connecticut too, we have a lot of problems with guns coming in from the south,
Mm-hmm.
and trafficking. And there's once again no federal laws on gun trafficking for
Right.
whatever reason.
I wonder why that is. I wonder why. Scott says the U.S. and gun laws are beyond understanding. Yeah, it makes no sense.
It is.
Because all of these numbers that they're probably going to, put on a chart and on a graph and say, look, that's 29 people in 2024 that would still be here. Never mind the fact that several thousand are dead from handgun violence because, I don't know, Missouri decided to make it open carry.
Right.
For no reason. Unbelievable. Holy shit, my glasses were dirty. Whew, I got HD vision.
I put a video in the chat for you there, Mikey.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
But I didn't bring you anything.
I know.
Announcement.
That's okay.
Oh wait.
Ooh,
I've been to this.
that looks fun.
Yeah. When is a
The ways
as a
that
sprout?
the government is defrauded is that the computer systems don't talk to each other. So if the computer systems don't talk
That's not what defrauded means, stupid.
to each other, then you can exploit that gap, and fraudsters exploit that gap to take
No,
advantage.
That's not
Not
the
true.
reason that the reason the government computers don't talk to each other is so that they're less easily hacked.
No, they should be all together so that if they're compromised, they'll all be gone.
God, he's such a fucking idiot.
For example, there were over $300 million of Small Business Administration loans.
As Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, ask MTG about those PPP loans.
That has been given out to people under the age of 11.
Well, actually, to add to it, it's 300 million under the age of 11 and over 300 million to over the age of
Who
120.
the fuck is that?
Definitely.
Oh, you don't want to
Small
know.
business loans. Correct.
Yes. The oldest American is 114. So it's safe to say if their age is 115 or above, they're fake. Or they should be in the Guinness Book of World Records. And we should not be
It's all that ketamine.
You suck.
giving out loans to babies. So the youngest recipient of a Small Business Administration loan is a 9-month-old, which is a very, very precocious baby we're talking about here.
That's a lie.
So obviously,
Got any evidence to back that up there, douchebag?
yeah, where is your evidence? Show me the loan.
Just like he saved $8 billion, that was like $8 million. Yeah.
You can redact the name and the address, but I want to see the loan.
Let's see it.
Show me proof.
It's on the website.
Oh yeah, the website.
it was just fraudulent.
With the website that's constantly hacked and people are putting up whatever they fucking feel like on there because they think it's funny.
And before it was hacked, it was mostly wrong.
Right.
And they do terrible things. They actually will see that a kid's been born. They will steal that kid's social security number and then take out a loan and leave that kid with a bad credit rating. There was literally a baby. The terrible things
Oh
are
my
being done. Is what
God,
we're saying.
Elon.
So stupid.
Children don't have credit ratings. You don't get a credit rating until you turn 18.
No, the kids have bad credit.
That's not how any of this works.
Yes,
He's
it
so
does.
fucking dumb.
And
And we're stopping these terrible things.
And you can stop it? I mean,
Well,
we are stopping
you are
it.
stopping it. The reason this is
Absolutely.
happening is because the two systems are not talking to each other.
Yes.
Right.
Who the fuck is that?
Oh my God. If he doesn't look like some sort of. Dude, he looks like from Prometheus.
He looks like a penis with ears.
Right. And so you don't know at the Small Business Administration that you're giving a loan to a 9-month-old, which happened in one case, because you're not cross-referencing that with the Social Security Administration data that has birth dates. So that very, very simple fix.
So the fact that you guys can't read the Social Security database because it's in a code system that you don't understand, and you don't understand how to how the date that is presented is not the actual date. They give you a legend, like a fucking map, to tell you, okay, this is how you read it. And they're like, no. It says he's 180. No, that's not what we're saying.
You know, hold on. Continue this. I'm going to look up what you have to put in to get a small business loan application. Hold on.
Yes.
Eliminates tremendous fraud. And that there are multiple systems across the government where the systems are not speaking with one another.
Yeah, Polls got it. Any checks go out and we're cash. That's what I'm saying. Like, prove that the check. Give me some check stubs. Pull out the check stubs. We should have the other half.
And if you just solve that simple problem, you would solve a huge amount of fraud.
Are you surprised? So one of the ways that, like one of the key tricks that the fraudsters pull is that they will use the fact that someone is marked as live, and as sort of just that Social Security number is marked as live in Social Security, and then get disability and unemployment insurance for a dead person because the database is.
Does U.S. still send out physical Social Security checks? I think so.
Yeah, to some people, yeah, because some people don't have online banking.
Yeah.
Like they don't have. All right, so here are the things that you need, basic things that you need to get any loan from the Small Business Administration.
I'm listening.
Be a real for-profit business.
Okay. I got an
Do
EIN.
business. Yeah. An EIN from the IRS is required at a minimum.
But the 9-year-old, the 9-month-old did this.
Yeah. Do business in the United States. You also have to actually have a physical presence, a physical business location, which is also, once again, on your EIN. Be credit worthy. You have to have good standing in your credit.
Well, these kids, they have bad credit.
You have to have credit and or collateral to repay the loan. Like you have to tell the Small Business Administration, hey, we can pay this back, if you give us this loan.
Then Kira walks in there and she just brings her Sully doll that she loves so much. She's like, I will need $2 million. What do you have for collateral? Sully.
This doll, yeah.
Or her Stitch. She'd probably give up Stitch before Sully.
And last but not least, you need proof that you've exhausted all other financing options. You need proof that banks have turned you down. You need proof that other lenders have turned you down before you go to the Small Business Administration. So if a con artist has gone through all that trouble,
which you could get easily caught in,
to get a loan for
Russell
probably $25,000 from the Small Business Administration. They don't give out loans bigger than $5.5 million, by the way. Then they deserve it. If they can make it so that a 9-month-old appears to be this business tycoon
guru
with good credit and already have an established business in the country, and they've applied to banks already.
Several banks, and been told no all the way down the road. They just walk down the street, dragging their baba behind them, just like, no one will give me money. I could just get my small business started. Where's my parents?
And you know what? They deserve it because they thwarted the system at that point.
That's a hardworking baby.
And that's not even getting into specifics. I'm sure there's specifics that we haven't even talked about that are required for this stuff. So Elon there is just lying.
No, he would never do. He only does things that are productive.
Don't talk to each other. All they got was from Social Security is is this person alive? Yes, they're not alive. It's falsely marked. Person is falsely marked as alive in Social Security, but they didn't. But that person, a fraudster can now get unemployment and disability from a dead person.
No, it's called having surviving children and widows. That's not fraud, idiot.
Yeah, the spousal benefit is not fraud. And I've been getting a lot of calls to the Congressman's office about people who are concerned that their spousal benefits are going to get cut because their spouse is dead.
Or they're orphans.
Yeah, or they're orphans. Or let's say for some reason something bad happened to somebody and they supposed to get Social Security benefits, and then you know I was dealing with a case this week of someone who got overpaid by the Social Security Administration. And the Social Security Administration sent them a letter saying, hey, we overpaid you this amount of money. We would like that money back. So they already know.
No, they got to talk to the other computer.
I've heard they've clawed back amounts as little as like a $5 overpayment.
They don't play that shit.
They don't fuck around. And they do the same thing that insurance companies do for payments for, if you're disabled or if you're retired. They do the same thing for a fraction of the overhead. I think they were saying that like Progressive's overhead for the same thing is like 11%, and Social Security is 0.5%.
Pretty good return on investment, if you ask me.
95 cents on every dollar the citizens get back in Social Security.
No, we should privatize this so that number can go up to like 30%.
Right. It's ridiculous. He's ridiculous.
All the time at scale.
Are you surprised at some of the legal efforts and some of the judges that have weighed in? There's about 8 or 10 now of these cases that are at least temporary holds. They're being challenged by the DOJ.
Right.
Are you surprised by that pushback?
Well, it's the D.C. Circuit is notorious for having a very far left bias, and when you look at
You're right.
the people close to some of these judges, where are they working? Oh, they're working at these NGOs. Oh, they're the ones getting this money.
Negro, you the motherfucker who got all the damn government contracts. You the biggest one getting paid. Talking about they're just looking out for themselves. Bro, that is the only reason we're even looking at your dumb ass right now. We shouldn't even be seeing you. Be finishing your Hyperloop.
Money. Does that seem like a system that lacks corruption? It sounds like corruption to me.
Last thing, do you guys all see this as a patriotic duty? I mean, is that really what this is about?
God, he's spray tanned to shit. God,
Yeah,
what is wrong?
Yeah.
White dudes, y'all need to start going outside. 'Cause this is getting
Or
crazy.
either go outside or just admit that you're pale.
Just stay with the pale. It's cool.
It's okay to not be tanned all the
You
time.
can be like them fish at the bottom of the ocean. We can see what you ate.
Like, I'm part Puerto Rican, but look at me. Like,
It
I don't go
happens.
outside in the winter. It's cold outside.
Hell yeah. I'll see y'all in the summer.
I ain't doing no spray tan. I don't want to be orange.
It's essential.
Very much
I
so.
do, 100%. I was running 5 businesses in Houston, and
Who the fuck is that?
I left great people to do this, and
Tyler Hassan.
Doge Interior Department. So he's the dude that's like shacking up in the Interior Department building, just like sleeping somewhere at someone's desk.
Who takes care of the interior? So all the national parks? So he's the guy making
Yeah.
sure that Yosemite isn't wasting money on paying park rangers?
Yeah, the Interior Department deals with the national parks and with some Native American affairs.
Awesome.
my wonderful wife said, go for it. And here I am. But I feel like this is me giving back to the country.
If we don't do this, we're sunk. There should, unless
Says
False.
who?
False.
Says who? The only reason that you're sunk if you don't do this is because you're giving tax breaks to yourself. And you're going to add $4 trillion to the federal debt
Yeah.
because you're idiots. And we'll just cut taxes for everyone again. That'll work.
not
All
how
the
any
rich
of this
people and the
works.
corporations get tax cuts. We don't need a government.
unless this exercise is successful, the ship of America will sink.
That's not true. And you don't know anything about fucking business.
The
You just know how to
government-
fucking rig stock prices. You don't know how to run
Yeah.
any business. Every time he gets his hands on the steering wheel for one of his businesses, it fucking goes in the ditch. Every time. And then as soon as he walks away from it because something shiny pops up, the rest of his team is able to salvage it. And then he swoops back in like, we finally did it. Didn't we, SpaceX? It had nothing to do with your dumbass. It does better when you're not around.
Christy in the chat says Tyler Hassan is a former oil executive.
And he's in charge of the interior.
Yes.
There you go.
I mean, That makes sense, right? The guy in charge of the protecting the natural parks where there might be oil under. Let's go get that oil.
Unbelievable.
That's why we're doing it.
Well, gentlemen, I really
Why don't
appreciate
you go,
the time.
why don't you go dig in Yellowstone? Just all you guys get together and just start
See what
drilling.
happens.
I'm gonna be watching from Chicago with my sunglasses on.
Hassan, Interior Department, you're a former oil company CEO.
Oh, there you go.
You're reviewing
I see.
contracts before they're approved for funding. What are you finding?
Well, Elon and Steve kind of stole my thunder a little bit, but I actually found.
Brother, you have no thunder.
I don't think that dude has ever had thunder.
No.
That customer service survey contract. I actually have an example of one right here. I could have done this in high school. And
Why are your hands shaking, brother?
Yeah.
I found it.
Is that bad?
I found it on the weekends because under the Biden administration, there was no departmental oversight within the Department of Interior whatsoever. None.
It's called the Attorneys General.
Yeah, the inspectors general.
Inspectors General. There you go.
But
I wonder where they all went.
he is also lying. Every department has internal review. Every department at every level has internal review. That's why it's called a bureaucracy.
No, but he's getting rid of the nothing.
We are now reviewing every single contract, every single grant, and when things come to my attention that don't make sense, I'm bringing them to Secretary Burgum, and he's been fantastic. He's a
Questionable obscenity. Get your air horn. Tanned used to mean you work outside and probably didn't earn a lot. Still true in Asia. But in the 80s, it became associated with being able to afford to go on holiday. In future, to mean skin cancer.
a businessman.
Dude looks like Matthew Perry's fail son, little brother.
He's very supportive of Doge. It's been wonderful to work with him.
Is the battle between government of decades and decades of buildup and business, which you guys are, is that like a train hitting each other? I mean, it seems like it's pretty disruptive.
Well, this is a revolution. And I think it might be the...
You promise?
I think that he means that one. I think that he actually thinks that he's like leading a revolution.
Motherfucker think he Joan of Arc.
Yeah. he thinks he's like he's the sacrifice on this one, I think.
Oh, there's gonna be some sacrifices.
Might be the biggest revolution in government since the original revolution. But at the end of the day,
These delusions of grandeur, though, like
Yeah, it's not
everything that they touch is always like the most important thing in the history of mankind. So
it's not even the biggest revolution in government since, like, I don't know, the Civil War. Like, you guys are just tearing down stuff for no reason. You're just in there roughing up the place just because you feel like it.
Well, and all of this bluster and all of this, like, especially the stuff with like the migrants and stuff like that. This is all a distraction. They're just trying to cut their own taxes. That's all this is.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about, oh, look at the waste in the front. Look at all of his companies. Remember when he sat on fucking stage and said, hey, I know I'm supposed to be the CEO of Twitter or whatever, but fuck you, advertisers. Fuck off. If you don't like being put up next to Nazi shit, fuck you. Like, that's what he said.
Did you see on Friday that he said that X got bought out by his AI startup company, XAI?
Yeah.
Like, it's all a game to him. It's all fucking... He doesn't care.
No. He can give two shits what happens to this place.
America is going to be in much better shape. America will be solvent. The critical programs that people depend upon will work, and it's going to be a fantastic future. But
oh, it will be. You won't be there though.
We're going to get a lot of complaints along the way. Absolutely. You know, one of the things I learned at PayPal was who complains the loudest and with the most amount of fake righteous indignation? The fraudsters.
Yeah.
That's you.
You know what else he learned from PayPal? How to get fired.
It's a tell. There's some of these NGOs that are crazy, like the $2 billion to Stacey Abrams' NGO that basically didn't exist and suddenly gets $2 billion awarded from the federal government. Why?
Did they spend the money?
Yeah. if it doesn't exist, once again, show us the proof.
You're just saying shit.
You're just saying shit. Maybe Stacey Abrams did have an NGO, and they got a grant for $2 billion or whatever. Show us the proof that it was a fake organization.
Do it. We'll wait.
You guys are supposed to be the watchdogs.
Like that.
I think that most people, common sense wise, would say the fraud's got to end.
Yeah.
They're concerned about the 94-year-old mother who skips a check or somehow doesn't get what.
All right, let's do a little prediction here.
All right.
I've seen this, but I don't remember what his answer is. So for the old people who aren't going to get their money, he's going to say that they already got their money.
Oh, I think I saw what's his name, Letnick or whatever his name was, talk about this too.
Oh, his mother-in-law.
Yeah, and he was like, "Oh yeah, if my mother-in-law missed a Social Security check, she wouldn't complain about it because she lives in your house, bro. You're a billionaire."
Yeah, she lives in the west wing of the estate.
I have people calling every single day the Congresswoman's office saying, I know I'm going to get my Social Security check, but I'm terrified that I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Because they are terrified.
They'll lose their house. They can't go. They can't move and rent and all that shit.
Or they're like 90 and like that's all they have. That's all their income. That's what they live on. And if their Social Security check is late or not there, that's a problem. Not everyone is fucking a billionaire taking care of their mother.
Well, they already are, so it's time to pull up the ladder.
She's supposed to get.
Right. And what we're trying to say is actually that the 94-year-old grandmother is actually, as a result of Joe Doge's work, going to get her check.
She was already going to get it, stupid.
Yeah, you just made it harder for her to ask.
She's not going to be robbed by fraudsters like she's getting robbed today.
You're the fraudster.
You're the guy. You're the one who fired all those people in the Social Security Administration and closed down the phone lines. So people have hours and hours of waiting at their local Social Security Administration building.
Which they closed a lot of.
Yeah, and they fired half the employees there. Yeah,
and sold the buildings, yeah.
You're the dude making sure that they can't complain.
Right.
And then they call their representative's office and saying, I haven't gotten my Social Security check. What do I do about it? And then we have to deal with it.
Right. So he didn't do it. You did it.
It's ridiculous.
And the solvency of the federal government.
I have an idea. Why don't you fucking pay your taxes, Elon?
Yeah.
That will keep us solvent. Just you, individually, you pay your taxes. Why don't you just pay 50% for like 5 years? And I think we'll be good. Just do that.
Will ensure that she continues to receive those Social Security checks, that Medicare continues to work.
And also, you didn't answer the question.
We're all doomed. The reason we're doing this is because if we don't do it, America's going to go insolvent. We're going to go bankrupt. And nobody's going to get anything.
Why are you guys?
I love Tesla.
You can pipe up, but you don't have to be here, right? I mean, you don't have to be doing this.
I have four.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
They don't have to be here.
You
Can they go away now?
You could
just get the fuck out.
Just get into your little what's that thing? Deep Horizon submarine. Go see the Titanic. We'll see you later.
Beautiful children, my wife and I. But we have a real fiscal crisis, and this is not sustainable.
Who the fuck is that guy?
And what's worse, back to my children and everyone else's children, is
you got crusties around your mouth. I don't trust you.
Are burdening them.
His name is Tom Kraus.
With that debt. And it's only going to grow.
Steve, there's not a lot of hierarchy here. You guys are kind of all approaching it in different,
If only those computer systems would talk to each other.
Yeah, if only.
But with the same kind of goal, right? I mean, this is really Silicon Valley, private sector colliding with government.
Yeah, exactly, and we're headed in a bad path, but the chance of success
oh my God.
Exists. And just the one that just is in my head right now, which is a fairly mundane one, but I think is very illustrative, is credit cards.
Wait, can we his name is Steve Davis, and he just works for Doge, and he's eliminating plastic targeting credit cards in federal agencies, but so they can't spend any. I don't get it. I don't get it. They're doing dumb shit. They're just dumb. That guy is an idiot.
There are in the federal government around 4.6 million credit cards for around 2.3 to 2.4 million employees. This doesn't make sense.
Right.
Right. A department shouldn't have like several different cards for different things. Every person should have a card. What is he talking about?
Like those credit cards are so those agencies can buy supplies and staff their offices and buy food every once in a while. Like it's not like they're out there fucking buying a Maserati with a credit card.
They are.
And so one of the things all of the teams have worked on is we've worked with the agencies and said, do you need all of these credit cards? Are they being used? Can you tell us physically where they are?
I hope they're getting frequent flyers.
Actually, on a different note, the rewards program the federal government has is actually not very good.
Yeah, because they're not out there to hose the taxpayers' money to get benefits for themselves. It's crazy, right?
That's a whole other...
It's a negotiation.
Sure, yeah, exactly. But so far the teams have worked together and they've reduced it from 4.6 million to 4.3 million. So
we're taking it easy. But clearly there should not be, more. There should not be more credit cards than there are people. Yeah.
Joe.
And Simply Secular Dave in the chat says those credit cards are super trackable and easy to identify abuse or loss on them.
Yeah.
That's why they use them.
It's so dumb.
No, but what we should do is not give any kind of report about all the cutting we're doing. We'll just lie on our fucking Twitter feed about bullshit that we make up. Never mind the fact that all of those fucking and that shit should be FOIA-able. Freedom of Information Act.
Right.
Like you can just you can ask and then they'll just have to email it to you. It's not hidden. Just nobody cares.
Middle level employees, are they seeing a benefit to being empowered by taking out bureaucracy? I mean,
absolutely. I mean, I think what you're seeing is taking the best of Silicon Valley in the business world and bringing it into the government.
Who the fuck is that guy?
This is in the best methodologies, and people are inspired, right? Especially on the retirement process, which I can speak to. They've been trying to modernize and get off of paper since early 2000s, very unsuccessfully. Every attempt has gone over budget and been canceled because it hasn't been successful. And so, I showed up and I feel like I'm here because it's an interesting problem. We can use design to solve it and good engineering.
Tons. Holy shit, that's my dad.
And really create a better experience for everybody.
We're talking about elementary financial controls that are necessary for any company to function. So, like, if these...
The government is not a company.
The government is not a company. It doesn't need to run like a company.
It's not a business.
It doesn't need to run like a business.
Governments can carry debt. Governments can run on deficits. They have to sometimes. Like during a fucking pandemic or a war or whatever we get ourselves into. That's how it happens. War. You know what the problem is? Is that we're not taxing this motherfucker at like 80%.
That would help a lot of our problems. A lot of our problems.
They're just cutting taxes for these fuckers, and they're not doing anything except for cutting government services for everyone else to try and balance the budget, which they'll never be able to balance. You could cut all the jobs. You could cut all the departments. You will never be able to balance the budget by just cutting taxes.
But if I just keep reducing the amount of money we bring in, I'll be able to get to my deficit. Look, Tim, if I just keep gambling more of my paycheck away, eventually I'll be able to pay off all my debt. I'm not assuming I'm not assuming that I'm going to win any of those things. Well, let's just say I eat 3 $20 bills out of my paycheck every week. That will help me pay my bills because I have less money.
Yeah.
These guys are so stupid. Like their whole framing is warped. Like they think that taxes are hurting the funding of the government.
Which doesn't.
Which
it's
is the
never made any
opposite.
sense.
Like it's the and like dumb with the fucking tariffs. Like, how are your brains literally upside down? Oh wait, I got something for that.
The aircraft starts upside down and burning.
Like, your brain is literally like mirrored or something. Like it's just like you're just so on the facts wrong. I want to reduce the amount of taxes we take in, and that will help me have enough tax money to pay off the deficit. What the fuck kind of sense does that even make?
I can balance the federal budget in 1 year.
Oh yeah. Hit me.
And all right, here's what we do. We raise taxes
on
these motherfuckers because they're all obviously billionaires or whatever.
Yes.
We force them to pay an alternative minimum tax of like 25%.
What's that?
On
What's
their
alternative
business.
minimum?
So, a lot of these companies like Amazon and whatnot, they pay almost nothing in taxes to the government. An alternative minimum tax would be like, well, even though you get all these tax breaks, you still have to pay 25%. Just flat.
There you go.
You have to. And then I would give money and people to the IRS to collect the $1 trillion that is outstanding in tax payments that have not been made by these motherfuckers.
Well, Tim.
And there you go. Balanced budget.
Well, Tim, where are we gonna find? Put the chloroform. Hit them. Smelling salts. Just like they'll just black bag you for crazy talk like that. Yeah.
And I would also do the fucking Biden millionaires tax of 25%. Anyone who makes over $150 million. I think that's very fair. On top of whatever taxes you're supposed to pay.
Because I mean, dude, at 125 million, you're not running to the grocery store like, I gotta get here before the direct deposit comes out for Netflix. I gotta make sure I buy my groceries. Like, that's not where you're not there.
And that's not even the most progressive stance you could take, right? That's not even saying everyone should just be taxed at 80%. Corporations are probably like 50%. Because all they do is take their earnings and put it into stock buybacks.
Yep.
I would also increase the capital gains tax.
Yeah.
There's a lot that you could do to balance the budget without ripping the government to shreds.
And the thing is, even if industries took a hit, and most of them would if we increase taxes on them like that, they'd still have lower taxes in almost every fucking other country, dude.
Right.
Like, it's like, go somewhere else then. You know what I'm saying? Go somewhere else. Go to fucking Sweden, where they're gonna tax the shit out of you. Go to you know what I mean? Go try this dog and pony show somewhere else, and it won't fly. You're gonna pay out the ass.
It's getting to the point where there's no more cuts that can be made.
Right.
These tax cuts coming up are like bare bones tax cuts. They're already paying what, 20% as a corporate tax rate? 20 or 25. I think it's 21. The corporate tax rate is 21%. How much lower can it go?
Right.
Before they're just not. I mean, half of these companies aren't even paying anything
from all their little loopholes and credits and.
Right. The effective tax rate of Amazon, I think, was like 6% in 2023. That's how much they paid.
But if you put that against how much business they're doing, that's the wealth gap.
Yeah.
That's the wealth gap. That's the gap that we don't have health insurance. That's the gap that we don't have universal health care or better senior care, better care for our veterans, better roads, better bridges, infrastructure, water pipes, that's where the money is. Amazon is literally just keeping it. That money is supposed to go into the federal government. That's why we have deficits. Spending like crazy and not taxing fucking super corporations is the problem.
And like the $1 trillion is just like out there because the IRS can't collect it. You know how much money it would cost to end child poverty in this country?
$17.
Like $300 billion. You could claw back $1 trillion that's just money that's owed to the government that hasn't been collected because the IRS doesn't have the ability to enforce it, and end child poverty in this country, and still have $700 billion.
We could all go to Disneyland.
We could all go to Disneyland.
For free.
God.
But instead, we got to listen to this ketamine addict.
If a commercial company operated the way the federal government does, then it would be immediately go bankrupt. It would be delisted. The officers would be arrested. The changes we're putting in place will enable the federal government to pass an audit. It will enable taxpayers to know where the money is going.
Let's audit SpaceX.
They fired all the people that did the audits.
Oh.
They fired them.
Oops. I guess we'll have to do it.
And know that their hard-earned tax dollars are being spent well.
Elon Musk sitting down for an exclusive interview, a fascinating interview alongside 7 members.
Fascinating is not the word I would use.
That is so hard.
On the retirement.
Yeah. Moron. Moron who literally knows nothing about business. Unbelievable. And then people look at me and they say, well, Elon's got this under control, man. It's like, does he look like he's under control? Does it look like he's confident in what he's saying? Why did he, and here's the other question. Why is he just now volunteering his services?
Well, because he paid $200 million to have Trump win the election, and now
why didn't he do it in 2016?
Well, he was not all on board with Trump then.
And then he was cool with Biden. He was cool with taking the money. He was cool with the NASA funding. He was cool with that.
Yeah.
Why didn't you get involved then? Because now you have somebody here who's going to lower your taxes like he did in 2016, and you could really go for some of that. Which is ridiculous, being the richest person on the planet.
Yeah, like how much more money do you need, bro?
Like, he doesn't even know what he's doing anymore.
And once again, the only thing he cares about is for people to like him, and this is not getting people to like him.
It'll never happen, dude. It'll never happen. Ever. Oh, here we go.
A stunning admission from the Trump administration. It admits in a court filing that a Maryland man was sent to the notorious El Salvadorian mega prison, all because of administrative error. And it argues there is no way to get him back. CNN's Priscilla Alvarez joins our panel now. Can you just kind of back up? Yeah. What do we know about who this person is and whether or not he was the danger to America that the administration is now claiming he was?
This is a filing that came in late last night in a lawsuit over the removal of the Salvadoran national. What we know, according to court documents, is that he crossed into the U.S. around 2011. He had a brush with law enforcement that we see in these court documents in 2019 when local police department had approached him and a group of men who were loitering at a Maryland Home Depot. The police department said that he had ties to
looking for work.
Yeah.
MS-13. When he was detained by Immigration and Customs Enforcement in that year, he went through immigration proceedings. Over the course of those proceedings, this alleged tie to MS-13 came up. According to the attorney, it was quite fruitless in getting additional information and evidence as to why he was being tied to this gang, other than the fact that the police department said it was because of a confidential informant and because of his attire at the moment.
A made-up fucking confidential informant.
Wow.
We can't tell you who they are. They're confidential.
Yeah.
That he was detained. Now, over the course of those immigration proceedings, again in 2019, an immigration judge granted what we call withholding of removal. What does that mean? That means that the government, cannot remove him to El Salvador for fear of persecution in that country. He is still removable to another country, but he cannot be sent to El Salvador. And if the federal government were to want to terminate that, they would have to go through an additional process in immigration court. So this man on the list, he gets arrested in March of this year and is detained by ICE. His wife, the last time she spoke with him, was the morning of those 3 deportation flights to El Salvador. And this court declaration provides a glimpse of what exactly was happening that day. There was a flight manifest, and as ICE was working through this flight manifest, they were pulling off names because of various reasons, they say. His name, therefore, was moving its way up on the list until ultimately he was put on this deportation flight to
So is that the
El
quote-unquote
Salvador.
clerical error that they claim?
Correct.
That it just moved up a list without anybody realizing?
And that is what the senior ICE official calls an administrative error, going on to say that Abrego Garcia, that's his last name, was removed from the U.S. to El Salvador. The senior ICE official says this was an oversight and the removal was carried out in good faith based on the existence of a final order of removal and Abrego Garcia's purported membership in MS-13.
Wow.
So the administration is maintaining that he has ties to MS-13. His attorney says that is not true. But the problem here for the attorneys, for the court, for the administration in these court documents is they can't get him back because he is now in Salvadoran custody. This is true as well with the other migrants that were sent on these deportation flights. So really the ball now is in El Salvador's court, and it's unclear what resolution there will be here, but this is an ongoing legal proceeding with another hearing on the horizon.
And Jeff, you cover the White House for us. I just want to say that Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, is speaking right now, and she
Oh God, I don't want to listen to her.
doubled down on the notion that this man was part of a gang, MS-13, even though, as you said, we can't find any evidence that he was convicted of such a thing.
No, there's 2 court systems, Tim.
As a layman looking at this, want to know is, why can't they get him back?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I wish I knew the answer. I think what I would say, sort of on a step back level, is I remember when Elon Musk and the president were in the Oval Office together the first time, Elon said, we're going to make mistakes, and then we'll fix them. But some of these mistakes, if they are mistakes, are not easily fixed. And that's an example in this case. I was in the Oval Office yesterday with the president, and I asked him if he had seen the video of that Tufts student who was removed from the street, and if he was comfortable with that, because that's one example of what his administration is doing on immigration. And he get in very Trumpian way. He's like, oh, I saw it, but I didn't look closely. I'm not super familiar. There's this desire to kind of gloss over the things that really have a real impact on human beings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's fucked up. I don't know more to say other than like they can't get him back because they deported him to a country he didn't belong to. And they have an agreement with this country, and now he's in some other country and in a supermax prison.
Full of gang members.
Right. And all those people that got put in that prison from America, good luck getting them back.
But you know what? They're right. We're the radicals.
Yeah.
We're the ones that are, whatever, what do they say, Big Brother or Deep State?
Right. Yeah, no, we're the deep state. But
these dudes rolling up on her.
Yeah.
A college student for writing a fucking thing about another country.
And it wasn't even about another country. It was about her school divesting from that country.
That's crazy.
Do you want to check in on Cory Booker one more time before we get out of here?
Oh,
He's
yeah.
still going.
Where'd he go? Lost him.
He's still going. He's on like hour
Cory.
19. Hello, Cory. Where are you?
Employed with tying wildfire disaster assistance to political demands. They've proposed eliminating FEMA. They've implemented federal freezes on things like hazardous
Cory
fuel
looks different.
removal and the hiring of federal firefighters, things that we need to do in the winter months to prepare for the hot.
So Russell asks, why does El Salvador want to keep prisoners supplied by USA? Because he's paying for them.
Yeah, no, we're paying money for it. Nobody knows, but we're paying money for it.
Yep.
And dry summer months when the risk is greatest. They've even brazenly opened up dams and flooded portions of the Central Valley.
Hey, sweet, are
to
you ready for the
pretend
tariffs tomorrow?
President Trump was helping with the Los Angeles
We might have
wildfires
to have a
when
special
the
episode.
fact is those fires were contained when they released this water that's no longer available in the hot, dry summer months. So they're not just refusing to act or to help, they're making matters worse for states like California and many others. So that's what this fight is about. Our fight for the environment is about America's health and safety. It's about American jobs, and it's about America's future. With all that being said, my question to Senator Booker is this. For the next generation of Americans, for the young people who are tuning in and wondering, well, what is it that I can do? Do I have a voice? Do I have any power? What would you say to them? How can they take action?
I love you for that question, my friend. And I
He
just
loves
want
everybody
to talk
today.
about anger because I've been all over the place. I read these letters and they make me sad. I read these letters, they make me angry. I read these letters, they make me embarrassed that we're a country where people have to rend their pride and beg for help because of the little teeny modicum of support they get from a service like Medicaid. But I've been saying over and over again, as I've tried to learn from my elders, if I've tried to learn from the heroes I revere,
Pepperidge Farm
that
remembers.
I learned from my parents that anger is not a bad emotion. It's what you do with that emotion that's important. Does it consume you? Does it drive you to hate other people, or do you allow it to fuel you? Because it was ferocious love that had ancestors of all of ours in this country make it through the insults, no Irish need apply, the injuries of Japanese internments. It's what do you do with those feelings? You're not defined by what happens to you, you're defined by how you choose to respond. So I tell people, anger, if you're not angry, you're
not paying attention.
Right.
Let that fuel you. Well, what about
Oh, that you
the
fucking
heartbreak
stepped
that I
on it.
feel?
Yeah.
Well, I get emotional sometimes because I read a letter and something in it makes me remember somebody I know, or to feel the hurt of constituents begging for help, and it breaks my heart. But I tell you, if America hasn't broken your heart, you don't love her enough.
Oh, he's
There's so
spitting.
much heartbreak and fear and pain in a nation where people are seeing their economic hopes and dreams of maybe buying a home or having the money to help their kids with school or to meet their basic needs, where so many Americans are one
Those guys walking through the doors on his left are Google Eats delivering pizzas.
flat tire, one $400 hit to their account, and they're suddenly doing payday loans or having to struggle to find a way through. There's so much heartbreak in this country. Great love means you make yourself vulnerable to having that heartbreak. But the heart's this powerful tool that even when it's broken, it still beats. And what about people that are afraid? I get afraid sometimes. I think about this legislation. If it goes through, what's going to happen in my state? I know the hospitals. I know the recipients. But you're telling me, look at our history. Is there anybody in American history that you revere that didn't face extraordinarily fear? Because you cannot have great courage without great fear. Fear is a necessary precondition to courage. And so you ask me, my friend, what
I
can
mixed
people
up my
do?
buttons.
I want to remind people, as
I
I've said
paused it
before on the
instead of
floor,
fucking muting.
to remember the truth
So you guys can hear
that
my
I
cough
heard
better.
before I came here, that change does not come from Washington, it comes to Washington by the people who demand it. I said this earlier. Do you think that we got suffrage in this country
I can't play it on stream.
because a bunch of
Sweet.
men on this
They'll get
Senate
us.
floor right here
I'll
put their
show you.
hands in and
They
said,
will-
hey,
they will
fellas,
get us.
on the count of three, women get the right to vote. Ready, 1, 2, 3, go. No, that's not how it happened. It happened because of Alice Paul. She was a young person from New Jersey. She broke with
Oh,
the
she's
course
from Jersey. I
of
don't care
human
anymore.
events. Alice Paul, one of my greatest heroes, you know what she did? She
Moved to New
caused a
York?
heck of a lot of good trouble. Necessary trouble. She is the first American ever, young American in her early 20s, the first American ever to protest in front of the White House. She broke with the older, more mature suffrage organizations and went to the White House and did what she called a silent retreat.
Prime Minister Mark Carney.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. It is, wow, what an honor to be here at NFI. Bonjour tout le monde. Good morning, everyone. You know, et je voudrais commencer à remercier New Flyer de nous accueillir ici.
Hey, pick a language, dog.
Aujourd'hui.
Nah, he's going to speak French and then English.
I want to thank above all
Speaking
the
Franglish over
dedicated,
here.
innovative, hard-working members of this company behind me, around us, across North America, stretching into Europe, that have made NFI, have made New Flyer the ultimate Canadian success story that it is. Grows incomes, propriété, coûtant families to purchase a home.
Enhance.
For an average family here in Winnipeg, this makes purchasing a condo much more affordable by saving them more than $3,000 on development. With him, it's everyone for himself. Despite never having had occasion, he's against serious solutions because on every occasion he puts ideology over ideas. He's the type of lifelong politician that worships at the altar of the free market despite never having had to make a payroll. With him, it's everyone for himself. To create prosperity that includes everybody, to create affordability for everyone, we need to all work together.
Well, he's not a great speech giver. That I think we can agree on.
Well, I mean, that's all I got today. I don't have anything.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
there's news happening right now, but it's just RFK Jr. is gutting the HHS, and the deferred registration program started in some of the administrations. So,
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's tattoos tell a story. He says they represent his faith, patriotism, and defiance. But it's the latest ink-stirring controversy that has raised eyebrows. The Secretary of Defense's Arabic tattoo reading kafir, meaning infidel or non-believer, has sparked outrage, with critics calling it a symbol of Islamophobia. Supporters argue it's a mark of defiance against extremism, but the backlash is fierce, and it comes at a time when Hegseth faces scrutiny for allegedly leaking military plans, adding fuel to an already blazing fire. Here's more on the controversy.
Pete Hegseth's tattoos are more than skin.
what the fuck is going on here?
Indeed. For him, they are a battlefield of beliefs and a canvas of convictions. But now, for the United States, they are a lightning rod for controversy. The U.S. Secretary of Defense's latest ink, the Arabic word kafir, meaning infidel or non-believer, has set off a storm.
Like, what is wrong with him?
Lots of things. He's a fucking white nationalist. That's what's wrong with him.
Dude, you're the Secretary of Defense and you're sitting in a fucking tattoo parlor getting new ink. You have nothing to do.
Yeah, right? Like,
oh my god. Dude.
He was probably had a few in him, and he decided he had to go get some tattoos.
Stupid.
To some, it's a rebellious mark of defiance, but to others, a dangerous dog whistle. A pro-Palestinian activist didn't mince words, calling the tattoo a clear symbol of Islamophobia. Yet defenders paint a different picture. An ex-user described the tattoo as a warrior's mark, a symbol adopted by veterans who fought extremism in the Middle East.
He's a white nationalist. He's a fucking Nazi, guys. He
Why
just
are they
is.
looking so deep into this?
And
when the reports came out that he was chanting "kill all Muslims" because he was wasted at the bar, and they had to drag him out of there. And they
Right.
said that's not Islamophobic. Okay.
He's just a Nazi. That's all. Like, he just got more white nationalist tattoos. There you go.
Okay.
Like, come on.
Jeez, oh, they're breaking them all down. Okay, let's go.
Tattoos are a tale of faith, firepower, and freedom. On his forearm, We the People boldly salutes the Constitution,
which he does not
while
believe in.
1775 in Roman numerals marks America's revolutionary birth. 13 stars circle his elbow, which is a nod to the Betsy Ross flag and colonial resolve. Then the join or die snake, drawn by Benjamin Franklin,
yes.
slithers along his arm, urging unity against tyranny.
But
amongst several others, an American flag with a sniper rifle beneath it echoes support for the Second Amendment. His 187th Infantry Regiment patch honors his military service, and a cross and sword tattoo, inspired by Matthew 10:34, warns, "I did not come to bring peace, but a sword." This
Special.
inked odyssey began innocently enough, yet Hegseth's ink obsession might be more curse than blessing. The Yemen strike plan leak scandal has led to a bumpy start to his stint as the Secretary of Defense under Donald Trump, amid accusations of leaking U.S. military plans.
I like how he was like, "I never just said that." What a douchebag. Who would make up something like that?
And look at his fucking American flag pocket square. Who you trying to prove to, bro? What are you trying to prove?
So you're gonna blow your nose with the American flag? Is that what I'm supposed to gather?
Also, you ain't supposed to fold it up that way.
No. It's not supposed to
You
be
ain't
made
obeying the
into
flag
clothing.
code. Yeah.
Plans on the Signal app, Hegseth faces calls for resignation. Lawmakers are demanding an investigation, and the Pentagon remains silent.
Secretary Hegseth has disclosed military plans as well as classified information. He needs to resign immediately. He needs to resign immediately, and a full investigation needs to be undertaken with regard to whether other similar signal chats are occurring in this administration.
With every etched symbol, Hegseth's skin seems to be a battlefield.
Bro think he Killmonger.
Ideology, faith, and controversy colliding. Is he a
we didn't talk
warrior with
about
a
the big
message,
cross on
or a
his
man
fucking
whose
chest,
inked
did we?
convictions are carving his downfall?
Did we miss that part? Yeah, she totally skipped over
Greeting
that.
you with aloha and namaste.
No, I love India.
Presence, occupation.
Yeah, maybe they're not hip to the Jerusalem cross, which is the Crusader cross, which is also anti-Semitic, or probably anti-Semitic.
Showing up at our town
But,
halls, yelling at us, Democrat and
Islamophobic.
Republican, do more. How are you letting this happen? Well, I hate to tell you, we're doing all that I can think of. This is why I'm standing here, to try to give voice to those people. But what is more needed from now is less people sitting on the sidelines. Less people being witnesses of American history and more people determined to make it.
Yeah, Chuck
to
Schumer.
make history.
Yeah, Chuck.
To call to the conscience of this nation. To say, I will not stand for another American to lose their health care for a billionaire. I will not stand for another veteran who's dedicated to stopping the suicide of other veterans to lose their job. I won't stand for the air quality in my community to be made worse because they're letting polluters pollute more. I won't stand for the collective assaults on the Constitution by a man who even the highest judge in our land, a Republican-appointed judge, said, stop threatening and bullying other branches of government. When is it going to be enough? My voice is inadequate. My efforts today are inadequate to stop what they're trying to do. But we, the people, are powerful. We are strong. We have changed history. We have bent the arc of the moral universe. And now is that moral moment again. It's the moral moment again. God bless America. We need you now. God bless America. If you love her, If you love your neighbor, if you love this country, show your love. Stop them from doing what they're trying to do for almost 20 hours. We have laid out what they're trying to do, 20 hours. I want to stand more, and I will, but I'm begging people, don't let this be another normal day in America. Please, God, don't let them take Medicaid away from 10, 20, 30, or 40 million Americans who desperately need it. Don't let them do it. I will yield to my dear friend who I owe an apology at the last hours of your birthday as I was preparing for this.
All right, I'm done, Corey.
Yeah, that was a good bit though.
Yeah. Well said. Timely.
Yeah, so I think that's it for today for this episode. Like and subscribe on the YouTubes. And
this thing.
Yeah. And patreon.com/thebin podcast. We got content up there.
Yes.
We did some videos that I hope are up there.
Yeah.
Oh.
And if not, I'll do it today.
Okay. And I'm making a small series of videos recommending books that people should read to help them get through the Trumpocalypse. Some of them will be up on YouTube, some of them will be up on Patreon.
And you know what? I was thinking, I'll tell you after the show's over. All right.
Okay.
We're going to get out of here. A couple more air horns. A couple more.
Oh, girl, baby girl.
A couple of.
Not your data, dumbass.
With those when I went through puberty. Honka honka, we're all gonna die. Anyway, I love Tesla.
There you go. Have a little giggle before you leave. Thanks, guys. I'm starving.
Yeah, me too. Let's go eat.
Let's go eat eggs.
I don't. Those are too expensive.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Ow! Oh my God! You killed me!